Good evening, everybody. It's just after 7 on a Monday night, and it's time to go wild. Welcome to the Time to Go Wild radio show here on Halton Community Radio 92.3 FM. We are also live across the internet on ws.hcr923fm.com/listen and on TuneIn. You can contact the show, radio@widnesworld.co.uk and via Facebook and Twitter.com/TTGW Radio. You can contact us by telephone 01928 835 291 and by text 07716 672 874. Start your messages with TTGW. All messages charged at your standard network rate. I hope you're ready. It's time to go wild. A very warm welcome to Time to Go Wild Radio this evening. And the reason I'm sounding a bit out of breath is after the weekend's escapades. And to keep me under control this evening, I've got one half of the Bungays. Evening, Carl.
Evening, Colin.
There was supposed to be two of you this evening, but one's not feeling too well.
No, unfortunately, Stacey's a bit under the weather.
Oh, dear. So get well soon, Stace. But she did manage to get to both games this weekend, but unfortunately, I think things have got the better of her.
Yes, it definitely does.
As for me, I think, like you, Carl, have your nerves calmed down from last night?
The nerves have calmed down. The tiredness level definitely hasn't gone anywhere.
And for those of you wondering who don't fully realise what was happening this weekend, it was a double-head weekend, road game in Blackburn for the YKK Widnes Wild, and then one of the most tense games of the season to date against the Telford Tigers D2 last night, and that was a cracker.
It was a fantastic game. Again, very close, like the game was in Telford. Either team could have won it. Thankfully, this time, we did. Yes,
it was nip, tuck, belt braces, and breathe in and hold your breath, I think, even in that last 11 seconds.
Yes, as soon as we called the timeout, you knew they would have a set piece ready for that face-off.
Oh, I better do the results and get that out of the way to start off with. Here we go. Time for a weekly roundup of the results across the Elite League and the irrelevant EIHA leagues. Starting with the EIHL Challenge Cup on Tuesday the 16th of October. Glasgow Clan 5, Dundee Stars 4 after a shootout. On Sunday we had Coventry Blaze 1, Milton Keynes Lightning 2. In the Elite League's league fixtures from Wednesday the 17th of October, Sheffield Steelers 1, Fife Flyers 3. Friday, we had Milton Keynes Lightning 1, Belfast Giants 4, Glasgow Clan 6, Nottingham Panthers 3. On Saturday, MK Lightning 1, Belfast Giants 5, Glasgow Clan 3, Coventry Blaze 5, Manchester Storm 4, Dundee Stars 3 after overtime, Cardiff Devils 7, Sheffield Steelers 1, Fife Flyers 7, Nottingham Panthers 5, and on Sunday, Sheffield Steelers 4, Manchester Storm 3, Cardiff Devils 7, Fife Flyers 2, Dundee Stars 1, Nottingham Panthers 2 after overtime, Guildford Flames 3, Belfast Giants 2. In the EIHA Women's Premier League on Saturday, Whitley Squaws 3, Kingston Diamonds 0. And on Sunday, Chelmsford Cobras 5, Milton Keynes Falcons 4, Bracknell Firebees 8, Sheffield Shadows 10. Into NIHL Division 1 North Morley on Saturday, Solihull Barons 4, Telford Tigers D1 9. Solway Sharks 5, Billingham Stars 1, Sutton Sting 1, Sheffield Steel Dogs 6, And on Sunday, Nottingham Lions 1, Whitley Warriors 9, Telford Tigers D1 11, Sutton Sting 1. NIHL Division 2 North Laidler for Saturday. Bradford Bulldogs 8, Dragons 0. Coventry Blaze NIHL 5, Hull Jets 7. And Blackburn Hawks D2 2, Widnes Wild 16. And on Sunday it was Dragons 2, Sheffield Senators 4, and Widnes Wild 2, Telford Tigers D2 1. And that's the weekly roundup of your results from across the leagues that matter in this area. Come back next week for more. Busy weekend across all the leagues, I think, there.
It was.
Some interesting results. Very high score, a couple of quite high scoring games in the Elite League over the weekend. 6-3 Glasgow Clan Nottingham, 7-1 Cardiff Sheffield, 7-2 Cardiff Fife. There's some big scores going in there.
Yes, it's not often you get a very big score in the Elite League.
Oh no, it's actually I've got to correct a result for some reason. And I should know because I did the highlight reel. A correction to the 20th of October score. Blackburn Hawks D2 2, Widnes Wild 14, not 16. I don't know why I wrote 16 down. It is 14, so it was Blackburn Hawks 2, Widnes Wild 14. Apologies for the incorrect result there. I must have had fat fingers when I was typing this up the other last night. So, it didn't seem right saying that score for some bizarre reason.
No, it clicked something with me and I'm like, doesn't sound right.
Yeah. But after the game in Blackburn, I did manage to catch a couple of people for interviews. And, well, let's just say those people who remember Joe Charlton, who played for Widnes back in our first season, he could be a bit of a comic at times. So I managed to catch up with both Joe Charlton and Tom Murphy after the game.
I've caught up with Joe Charlton and Tom Murphy from Hawks 2. So, guys, just give us your impressions on the game.
I thought the scoreline didn't reflect the overall outcome. I thought we dominated, to be honest with you, in some periods. They got 14 lucky ones.
There was a few offsides.
Yeah. I think the refereeing decisions were kind of hampering us a few times in the zones. But yeah, we'll take it on the chin. We'll look forward to seeing them at their place next time.
Hopefully take a full squad and turn them over this time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tricky when you've only got 10 players and it's big ice, so you made the most of it and you just kept going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're all about working hard, trying hard, and I think that was the only problem. If we had 3 lines, I think the scoreline would be a bit different today, definitely.
Absolutely.
I mean, you had Abby Colshaw turn up from playing up in Whitley just before face-off.
Yeah, she came all the way from Whitley. I think she arrived 2 minutes before the puck actually dropped, so every credit to her. Without her, we wouldn't have been able to actually play. So.
But, I mean, the team's playing better and better as the weeks go on, and scorelines will reflect that. And I can see everything starting to come together for the Hawks too.
Yeah, definitely. I removed a few kind of people's equipment out there with some of my dangles. People are saying probably I'm one of the best dekers in the league, and I'm trying to kind of continue that into next game, every game I can. Just a shame kind of Tom Murphy kind of doesn't have as many moves as me. We'll keep going.
So, Tom, would you say you've got any other jokers in the pack other than Joe?
Not really, to be honest. He's the biggest joke in the league, if you ask me. He's definitely up there in the top 10 of the league, at least. So, but he tries hard, which is the main thing. He shows up. He's 110% out there every game, and he's developing.
That's what this team's all about, though, development. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get better next game.
Well, we wish you well for the rest of the season. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
I'm with Chris G after the Wild have took on the Hawks 2 up in Blackburn. So give us a quick impression of that game.
I feel like that game went pretty well for both teams. I think that the Hawks actually did a lot better than the last time we played them. I think that Widnes came along, sort of with the heads down, ready to play, but then sort of eased off the gas towards the third period. I think we could have carried on for the 60 minutes, but things like these games get a little bit scrappy, so sometimes that gets in the way, and some penalty calls. So that's the bits that kill us.
I mean, it's a complete difference to last week's road game in Bradford. Small ice, very compact, and here it's big ice, a lot more room to manoeuvre. I mean, it does make for a very different style of game.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got a bigger ice pad here, and obviously, the legendary hump in the middle of the ice doesn't make it any easier. So, you've got to take every rink as it comes, and sort of you come with a game plan. You just got to try and take action on that everywhere you are.
And August got to keep digging in and be ready for tomorrow night against Telford.
Yeah, exactly. So, totally different game against Telford tomorrow. We're going to be, 110% up for it. So we'll just see what happens and hopefully get the good result.
Well, thanks for joining me. We'll catch you again soon.
Cheers. Thanks.
So yes, up in Blackburn, it is a very big pad. It's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's about the same size as Hull's pad and probably Nottingham pad 2. Pad 1, I think, is bigger again. Just a little, but it is slightly bigger again. But the two when you go up to Blackburn as a visiting team with 10 players, that's really hard. But the home team got 10 players together to play that game. And as we said, I was stood chatting before, during warm up, and all of a sudden Abby Culshaw comes walking past me. Like, where have you been? She went, Whitley. What you been doing there? She went, I was playing for Whitley Squaws.
I mean, to play a game and then come straight and arrive to get straight into another game, that's some dedication. That there's.
Oh, it was dedicated. I was chatting with her dad as well, and he was saying how they just had the 3-0 win up in Whitley and then driven down for it. I said, well, she did that the other week when Blackburn Hawks 2 were playing in Widnes. I said, how fit are some of these guys? And I'd love to sort of test the fitness of some of the people who play in this league against the top flight, because the amount of dedication they're doing, they might not be as fast on the ice. They might not have the same level of skill as the top players in the elite league, but the dedication is phenomenal.
The dedication and the actual fitness levels are still there. They've got to be, because how do you do 2 games in a day?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's not as though you're playing on a pad the size of Peterborough or Bradford, which is slightly smaller than Widnes's pad, where a game can be, you can pounce and you can do short striding. Yeah. It's small, it's compact. On Blackburn's pad, that is a lot of ice to cover, and 2 lines skating against a team like Widnes who could put out a good 3 lines the whole game and keep rotating.
Yeah, I mean,
and they kept going all night.
Yeah, that's one thing Stacey said. She said you can't fault Blackburn's desire. They said they never stopped. They just kept going despite the scoreline, despite the knowing they're not as good as other lads because they're developmental. They just love the game that much. They keep going.
Yeah, and again, hats off to them, because it is hard to take losses week in, week out, but hopefully, I really do hope as the weeks go on, the season goes on, those losses become closer and closer to a W, and they do pick up a couple of wins. Hopefully not against Widnes. No offence, guys.
We don't want anyone to beat us, all being well.
No bias at all for a moment. But they're just working so hard as a squad, and it was such a contrasting game from Saturday and Sunday. And Saturday's game was very open skating, very free-flowing skating. Every player had time on the puck, whereas the previous weekend in Bradford, no one had time on the puck. No matter,
it's such a small pad, you don't get time on the puck at Bradford.
They can pound. The opposition pounce on you as quickly as you've got the puck. And then the game in Widnes last night, well, it was, in a manner of speaking, it was a good job it wasn't as hard a game as it could have been up in Blackburn, because the energy needed to keep that intensity for the 60 minutes.
Definitely. The focus needed to play a game like that. It was unreal to actually watch.
Well, after the match, I managed to catch up with a couple of the guys from the YKK Widnes Wild, and this is what they had to say.
I managed to collar Matt Croyle after a weekend of definitely 2 halves. After we just finished playing the Telford Tigers D2 team. Matt, 2 very, very different games for you this weekend.
Yeah, I think it was more of a mental game for me yesterday. It was hard to stay in it, but we got there. Obviously, it wasn't any challenge for us, but then today was different. Really enjoyed today's game.
It was just action end to end, all game, start to finish, and you had to be in the zone. It was just both goaltenders were outstanding.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit easier, I think, for those games because you have to be in the zone, so there's no other choice. So yeah, it's a little bit easier.
It's all instincts, I suppose, rather than having to just watch the game.
Yeah, exactly. We faced some heavy pressure at the start of the game, and we went one up, and they sort of fizzled off from there. So I think we really applied pressure after that goal. So yeah, we were good.
So time to have a nice unwind and see what happens for the next weekend.
And see what happens next weekend.
Well, thanks for joining me, and go and have a good rest.
Cheers, thank you.
I managed to catch our player coach Ollie Barron after a weekend definitely of two halves. Ollie, sum them up.
Well, I'll start with tonight first. It was a great performance. 60 minutes of hard work. We know Telford are a very good team. What impressed me the most is his defensive performance today. I think it's easy to neglect that part when we're a team that's capable of scoring a lot of goals, but we knew we had to be tight in his defensive zone. And Matt Croyle had a fantastic game. But every single player stepped up tonight for a full 60 minutes, and they were prepared to block shots, take it, to make plays. It made such a difference, and I'm really happy to come out with 4 points.
Yeah, I mean, there was players taking shots just about every part of their body tonight, and goaltenders at both ends standing on their heads. It was an outstanding game of hockey, total drama for the fans to watch and you to take part in.
It was a great game for the league, wasn't it? I think two really good teams going for it, and both teams left everything out on the ice. So yeah, really good performance. We're looking towards Coventry next Saturday now, and I think they've had a couple of good results. So I know I say it every week, but every game is difficult and we've got to approach them correctly. But I really thought tonight we set the bar pretty high in what I expect from performances week in, week out. So
yes, it's one of those games where you can have a good rest, take everything in for training and prepare for next weekend and take every game as it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we started okay, we had a bit of a lapse, but we really picked it up. I think that after the whole defeat in Bradford, we've really picked it up, and it's nice to get some players back in the lineup like Stu. I think he's really calmed things down and settled the lines. So yeah, looking forward to Coventry. We'll have a couple of days off, get on training Thursday, and then prepare for the next game.
Well, I'll let you get off and get rested, and thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Cole.
So there you go. I'm still, as Matt Croyle put it, it was definitely two very different types of games for him. I mean, you've been chatting with Stacey, and she was able to see it from the other perspective of me, because I was behind the camera, as you can tell from the highlights. And yes, not knocking Blackburn rink. I do love going up to Blackburn, actually. But with a little bit of tweaking and white balancing, that rink looked really good on the video this week. So yes, it's just a shame the way in which cameras work sometimes with the lighting. It can look rather yellow, but a few little changes in settings and it's now looking nice and white. However, when I aimed the camera at our ice on Sunday night, switched the camera on, pointed at the ice, and it had saved the settings, and the ice turned blue.
Oh, we don't need that. We don't want our ice looking blue.
So it's good. No, re-white balance, thank you. So yes, the wonders of being able to white balance things properly these days. But yeah, because it's so big ice up in Blackburn, and I mean, you've got the shots on goal for Saturday night in front of you. And what were the shots on goal?
We outshot them 74-22.
Yeah. And what were the shots per period on Matt?
On Matt, he took 3 shots in the first, 12 in the second, and 7 in the third.
Now, I don't know about any other goaltenders out there, but all I would say is you have to find a way of keeping warm when the shot on goal is quite low. Because otherwise you'll probably just seize up.
Yes, Daisy said she did see Matt just take a couple of wanders, just, keeping himself warm, keeping himself moving.
I mean, the shots on goal from last night, though, were a complete contrast. On Zach Brown, he took 39 shots in total, and Matty Croyle faced 27 shots. So, but the game was just so end-to-end all night. It didn't stop. And no one could afford to take a foot off the gas at all
No, definitely not. It was constant. The second anyone was on the offensive zone, you wondered if it was going to be a goal.
Yeah. I mean, penalties, it was tight. One power play goal. Just checking. Yeah, one power play goal from Danny Bullock. 4 seconds.
Yes.
Power play of 4 seconds. It was that quick. Win the face-off to Danny, across, back, bang. And I thought it was going to go through the back of the net, that one.
Yeah, it was a sniper's goal from Danny. That he literally picked his spot and went for it. It was
a bulldozer bullet, that one. So yes, we'll try. I think it's about time we have a little pause to catch our thoughts and play a little song. And you've got a quick dedication to give out to one of our dedicated Wild fans.
I have, yes. I'd like to wish Stacey's mum and my mother-in-law, Elaine Bishop, a very happy birthday today.
21 again.
Obviously.
Of course. And anyone else out there, if you want any birthday dedications, drop them through to radio@widneswild.co.uk, or you can drop them to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TTGW Radio. If you drop us a message that way, we can give you a shout out. Now, in a break from our usual musical programming, we're having what I'm going to refer to as a bit of the bod effect on tonight's show. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you listen to my show on a Thursday night, which incorporates rock, country, pop and the preposterous, you will know that I am renowned for playing something a little bit off the wall. And there are some hockey-related songs out there, and I think I've found a couple of decent-ish ones, I hope, for tonight. And the first one, I think, is apt because it is your mother-in-law's birthday.
Yes.
So you better introduce this one.
Elaine, this one's for you. This is My Hockey Mom.
A bit of stomping Tom Collins there with My Hockey Mom. It's the Time to Go Wild radio show here on Halton Community Radio 92.3 FM. So we'll get into a bit of the old What's On guide and general reminders. Don't forget to check out widneswild.co.uk for all of your community programme Learn to Skate, Learn to Play, Junior Academy information and sponsor information. And, of course, our usual shout-out to our sponsors, YKK, our title sponsor, Sprakes and Son of Widnes, DMH Tyres, Ruxton Electricals, CL Woodworking, Nails by Alicia, and our charity, the Halton Haven Hospice. So, Carl, what's coming up in the fixtures?
In the fixtures, we have on Saturday the 27th of October, Widnes Wild visit Coventry Blaze, and that's a 7:15 face-off. On Sunday the 28th of October, Widnes Wild Women visit Nottingham Vipers, and that's a 5:40 face-off. On the 3rd of November, Saturday, the Widnes Under-15s are at home to Nottingham Under-15s, and that's a 6:50 face-off. D-side Under-9s are at home against Widnes Under-9s, and that's a 4:45 face-off. On Sunday the 4th of November, the Widnes Wild are at home to Altrincham Aces with the usual 5:30 face-off. And the Widnes Wild Under-13s are away in Grimsby with a 4:30 face-off. On Saturday the 10th of November, the Widnes Wild Under-13s are at home against Blackburn, and that's a 6:50 face-off. And on Sunday the 11th of November, the Widnes Wild Women are away at Kingston Diamonds with a 12:45 face-off. And your Widnes Wild are at home against Coventry Blaze NAHL with the usual 5:30 face-off.
And of course we've got the big announcement about Sunday the 28th game, Widnes Wild against the Dragons, don't we, Carl?
Yes, that unfortunately has had to be rearranged, so that will no longer be happening at the moment.
Yes,
check social media for updates.
Yes, please do. It was officially released by the Wild management today that the game has been called off. So yes, there's not a lot we can really do about that. Just keep an eye on the social media for that one. Ooh, came in a bit loud, that one. Also, we have coach travel this Saturday to Coventry. What time's the bus leaving for that one?
The bus leaves Widnes Rink at 3 p.m.
So yes, if you want to take the bus, it is the usual prices of £6 for non-season ticket holders, £5 for season ticket holders, and £1 for kids with an accompanying adult. So yes, 3 p.m. from the rink. So if you want to get any details on that, contact the Widnes Wild Fans Twitter or Facebook pages. The handle is still Widnes Wild Ones, but it's YKK Widnes Wild Fans page officially for that. A couple of other news-related items, and I think the first one is a big shout-out to our very own Widnes Wild Women's Katie Fairclough, who's been selected for the GB Under-18s women's squad. So that's fantastic news. The squad also has Ella Howard of Romford, Emma Nichols from Chelmsford, Suzanne Antelme from Guildford, apologies if I pronounced it wrong, Lucy Beale from Slough or Bracknell, Martha Cornell from Kingston, Amy Robbery from Streatham, Jessie Taylor from Bracknell, Ellie Wakeling from Romford and Bracknell, Lydia Walsh from Guildford, Sophie Campbell from Kirkcaldy, Grace Garbett from Telford, Megan Gowley from Solway, Emily Harris from Bracknell, Katie Reid from Swindon, Madeline Remington from Bracknell, Chloe Riley from Sutton/Sheffield, Elizabeth Saunders from Sutton Sheffield, Jessica Spruill, I think it is, Jessica Spruill from
O'Canagan, I think.
O'Canagan, yeah, I was trying to get my teeth out. O'Canagan Hockey Academy, Kiana Tate from Kingston, Hannah Ware from Sutton/Sheffield, and Audrey Wood from Kirkcaldy. So congratulations on everyone who's been selected, and the women are going to be taking on China, France, Poland, Netherlands, and Norway in a Group B game. So that is going to be one we keep our eyes peeled to. And a second one, we've got some information on the Blackburn v Nottingham Lions game. Carl, what have they got to say about that one?
Yes, the statement from the EIHA is that last Sunday's game was no fault. The actual statement was last Sunday's NIHL North 1 fixture between Blackburn Hawks and Nottingham Lions, Sunday, October the 14th, was abandoned after the first period. The National League Management Group has conducted a full investigation into the postponement, with reports and submissions from parties involved. Neither team is found to be at fault for the postponement. The game on October the 14th is therefore void and will be played in full on Saturday, March the 2nd at 6 p.m.
So there we go. Yes. So that's some good news anyway, because of the unfortunate problem they had up in Blackburn. But it's good that they've managed to do a rearrangement date now, which is usually quite tricky within the league games, is it not?
It is.
So yes. I was just checking something else online, unfortunately. I switched screens and Carl lost the statement. So anyway, back to this weekend. It was a big one, wasn't it?
It was a very big weekend.
In fact, if I click on the correct screen, we can look at the teams in form at the moment, and the team in form are actually the Sheffield Senators. 5 wins from 5.
Yes, no surprise. Sheffield are always a tough challenge. I mean, their 2 losses so far this season have come against us at the beginning of the year. They seem to be now getting their form together and will be a challenge for the rest of the year, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, a number of members of their squad are quite stalwarts of D1, D2 hockey anyway, and some good quality players on that squad. and it's no surprise. And the other teams, the second two best teams in the league in form in the last 5 games are the Altrincham Aces and your YKK Widnes Wild. 4 wins from 5. And then it's Hull with 3 losses, 3 wins. Sorry, 2 losses, 3 wins, and Coventry with 2 losses and 3 wins. So the middle of the, it's still tight. 1 game in it. It's not a lot to read.
No, it's like Tony Gilbert said yesterday when I was speaking to us. He said any of the top 6 teams, if you win a couple of games or lose a couple of games, you can go from top to like 6th very easily. Well, you've got to keep your form.
Actually, if we just look at the table, Coventry Blaze NIHL are currently 8th on 6 points from 6 games. Do the maths, and if they were able to win the 3 games in hand,
they'd actually end up going second or third in the league, depending on other results. If it was a level playing field and everyone played the same amount of fixtures at the same time.
Exactly, so they could actually theoretically be in second in the league if the fixtures are levelled. So it's one of those things where the team that were waiting to get a bit of a streak going, and I can see it happening, is the Hawks too, because they're going to keep digging in all season. They're going to surprise somebody. It's a bit like Bradford Bulldogs were in their first season when they returned to the league, where they didn't do very well for ages, and then all of a sudden
something will click with them. They will a couple of lucky bounces, maybe bit of confidence boost, and
a couple of people who come in. They are players, but they pick up a couple of players here, there, and everywhere. Sometimes, actually, I think back to Widnes Wild in our first season, and we had a very up and down first half of the season, and then in the second half of the season, a couple of player changes, and all of a sudden we got on a streak. And it can happen, and you can shoot up the table. Last year, Hull Jets.
Yes, very easily done. Like I say, a couple of good signings, and
Hull Jets just took off all of a sudden. Picked a couple of their players came into form, and next thing they were shooting up the league. So at the moment, still very, very much an open table. So yes, I think we'll have another breather for another song, and this one. Again, it's a Bod Effect song. I know. I'm getting.
I
them
knew
out.
I should have kept you locked up tonight.
Yeah. Well, there's only one of you, so there's it's either Taser or Straight Jacket, and I've been let loose too early. But this one is by a group called the Zambonis.
Very hockey themed,
and the song is called "I'm a Puck." And that was "I'm a Puck" by the Zambonis. I hope you liked that.
And now on Time to Go Wild Radio, it is time to sit back and relax and enjoy Mike Marr's Monday Mantra.
Great weekend of hockey this weekend. Saturday night we played Blackburn. It was a bit of a scrappy game. Every time we turn up there we underperform, and we did last night, but we still got the win. And then tonight, different game, probably the best game we played as a team this season. So roll on the rest of the season.
Join us again next week for more wise words on Mike Marr's Monday Mantra.
I love Mike's little mantras. It's always nice when I get him to record them after a game as well. Hear the man himself with his wise words, of course. So, did you like that one then? I'm a Puck.
Yes, I did. It was comical.
They're called the Zambonis, if you want to look them up online. I was just doing a look for some alternative songs, and that one came up. But I don't know if I actually heard a hockey puck-related song on a radio station the other day. And it's a Canadian one that I listened to, the radio station I listened to, and I was like, I've got to find it. So that must have been where it came into my mind from. But enough of that. I think it's time for the quiz. our weekly trip to join hashtag Team Stripies from www.eiha.co.uk with our weekly look at their 3 quiz questions from the rule book. So, come, let's go through last week's quickly. Question 1. A team official who is involved in a fight should be assessed what penalties? Our survey says
it would be a game misconduct or a match penalty.
Yeah, naughty boys shouldn't be getting involved in fights if they're game officials or team officials.
Definitely not.
So question 2. If a player refuses to surrender a stick for measurement when requested by the referee, or they destroy it, what penalty should be assessed?
The answer is a minor plus a misconduct penalty.
So a 2 plus 10. Oh yes, basically it's destroying the evidence, so don't. Mind you, it's always best not to have an illegal stick in the first place.
That always helps.
Yeah. And question 3. A player makes physical contact with an opponent after the whistle has blown and there was sufficient time to avoid the contact. What penalty should be called? Is it interference, roughing or charging?
The answer is a charging penalty.
Now, I wasn't sure on that one, if it was interference or would have been charging.
Yes, I suppose I was unsure as well, because it could technically be both, depending how they've gone into the player and what movements they've used.
I think, because I've chatted with a couple of refs on what... Sometimes you say, oh, that was a slash, and you go, no, it wasn't a slash, it was interference, because the player is not on the puck. So whatever it is, if the player isn't actually the puck carrier, although it might be one call, it could actually be classed just as interference. That was going back a few years. I'm not sure how the rule has modified since then, and the interpretation. So I suppose, yeah, it would be charging in this case, because even though it's not the puck carrier. Anyway, right, so that was last week. This week, on the other hand, here we go. Week 6, I think we're on. Here we go. Question 1. If a Team A player is guilty of an intentional offside, where is the resulting face-off?
Now, this is a tricky one. You always associate offsides with it coming just outside the blue line. But if it's intentional, would it be in Team A's defensive zone? Would it go all the way back?
I think it is. For what I often refer to as deliberate offside or intentional offside, I think it comes all the way back to Team A's defensive zone, because you can have it depending upon where the puck is played. Depends whether or not it comes to the face-off dot just outside the blue line, the face-off dot near your own zone, or it goes into the. Because I've noticed sometimes when they played an offside where it's actually gone to the second face-off dot.
Yeah. The
other side of the red line, centre line. So yeah,
might have to have a chat with the referee about that and see why they make that call.
That one, now I could be corrected on this one, but my understanding is it's where the puck was played from. Was it before or after the red line? Depending upon, so that's where it is. So it is kind of a little bit like a football rule in that case.
Yes.
Right. Question 2. A player makes a move to butt-end an opponent but misses the player and does not make contact. What is the correct call?
I'd say a minor penalty. I wouldn't like to say what for, but I'd imagine they'd get 2 minutes for something, because the intent was there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Because there's... Yeah, I don't know. I'm having a bit of a cheat because I've actually got an official game sheet in front of me with all of the different penalty calls. So yes. Hashtag.
You've kept that hidden.
I get one each week usually because
but I don't get it to look at.
I can't make head nor tails of anything that could be called. So I'll let you have a look while we read out the next question. Question 3: a player who recklessly endangers a player by checking from behind by an opponent should be assessed what penalty or penalties? Now, reckless endangerment.
I'm guessing minimum would be misconduct, right up to potentially game and or match.
Yeah, I think it pretty much starts as a 2 plus 10 and increases from there. That would be my interpretation. Again, as I say each week, answers on a postcard, or if you want, you can send them in via email, radio@widneswild.co.uk. You can tweet your answers to us, or you can drop them in at Facebook or twitter.com/ttgwradio. And if you're so inclined, you can always send them in by text, 07716 672874, or while we're on air, you can text us 60066, starting your message with HCR, and that way they will appear on my screen. So, once again, a big thank you to the IHA for each week for doing these.
Yes, I always enjoy this because it sometimes lets you find things out that you're unsure of.
But, any ideas on that question 2? Where are we? The attempted butt ending?
Looking at that, you could potentially say unsportsmanlike conduct as well. Would that potentially come into it? Because, again, it's deliberate.
Yeah, it is unsportsmanlike.
Yeah.
So yes, I like to hear your ideas. Now, of course, I'm going to remind you all again. We still have the option for you to contact us with your favourite line or your favourite lineup. The only clause is, in both cases, they cannot be all import players. That's the main one, and the selection is as open as possible within British hockey. So it's over the decades of British hockey. They've got to have played in a team on the British Isles. It can even be rec players. You put together a team that you want, and I've just had a message. Who have we got here? Oh, it's Barry. Hello, Barry. He's listening on the seafront in Tenerife. Hello, Barry. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself out there.
Very jealous, Barry.
Yes. So, yes, we will talk to you when you come back on that one, Barry. Enjoying the nice weather. Mind, it's not been too bad here. But anyway, favourite line, favourite lineup, quickly. So you can go through all the eons of British hockey and players that you would like to see play together. Favourite line, goalie, 3 forwards, 2 defence. Or you can go with your favourite lineup. You can just go open with it and pick your 22 players, but it's your 4 lines of forwards, 4 lines of defence, and up to 3 goaltenders. And if you want to be daring, you can even go as far as putting them all together as lines for how you would like that team to actually be formed up as your different lines. And one person, trying to remember who sent it in. It was almost a Sheffield Steelers dream line, where poor Ben Bounds would have been stood in goal doing nothing with Mike O'Connor and Ron Schuder in front of him, and Tim Cranston, Tony Hand, and oh my goodness, name completely slipped me because it wasn't Tom Plummer. Oh, it'll come to me, but. Basically, it was a gang basically of Sheffield Steelers greats, but it obeyed the rules. There were Brits, there was imports. It could be all Brits if you want, but it can't be all imports. And it would have been a line to see.
Yes, I remember discussing that last time with you on the radio. And
I mean, for me, a lineup I would actually like to see, and it would mean one of them playing D, but I would actually like to see a lineup of Stephen Foster in goal, Anthony Payne and Jonker playing D, although Payne will probably shoot me for wanting to put him in D. But when you've got Sean, Stephen and Anthony Johnson as your 3 forwards, you've got the 4 Johnson brothers, Anthony Payne and then Fozzie in D. It's just a fun lineup, that one. Any other thoughts on that one? Players that you'd like to see play together from teams you've seen?
From teams I've seen, I'd like to probably see. I'd have Pearson in goal.
Yes,
he's very, very good goaltender.
He is Phil.
You'd had in defence. I'd have Pav Fales, and probably pair him up with Luke Boothroyd from the Phoenix.
Ooh.
I imagine that would be a
Boother with Pav. Interesting. Okay.
And then it's your 3 forwards, Robin Korver. Fantastic player. He was what drew me to British hockey in the Phoenix, because I wasn't expecting that level of play in British hockey. and then you watched him and you're just like, wow, it's a much better standard than you expect.
He was a very, very good player, actually.
For the speed on the line, I'd put Stuart Brittle on there. It's just something about Britzy when he puts the hammer down, he's just gone. He could be at one end of the ice, and before you know it, he's back at the other.
Yeah.
And for the other forward, I'd have to put Tony Hand there, despite watching him in his age. To see someone 40 plus years
I've
doing what
seen
he did.
The difference on a team where they put the line out with and without Tony. And admittedly the way the coaching was, but I understand that one.
I mean, I saw it with the Phoenix, obviously, as when he play a coach, and then when he dropped back to coach. So obviously the coaching style was exactly the same because it was still his. But you did notice the difference. It's his experience brought to the team when he's on the ice.
And your goalie?
The other goalie, if you had Pearson as one, this is a tough one. And Stacey's going to kill me for not picking Steve Thorne, but I'd have to go for Mike Royal. I mean, you look what he's done.
He's really, really... And last year he stepped up, and this year...
I mean, to think he's still a young lad as well. He's still only young. In terms of hockey, he's got plenty of years ahead of him.
He has. One person who sadly missed out on a bit of a chance, and he's just sent us a text saying he's listening in Tenerife, is our Barry. And yes, he just goes out and plays. He loves to play.
Yeah, Barry just enjoys the game.
But that's the thing that I love about watching D2 hockey, is the guys go out and they give so much week in, week out. So I say it most weeks, whatever you're doing this coming weekend, if you've got a team local to you, and if you're thinking, I may or may not go along to see my team, go. These guys are giving a lot to play hockey. You can go along, give them some support.
Definitely go and watch them. I mean, a lot of them pay to play. A lot of D2 clubs, the players actually pay to come down and play hockey for the fans. Yeah. They enjoy it that much.
And if you get a game, anything like what we witnessed on Sunday in Planet Ice Widnes with the YKK Wild taking on the Telford Tigers D2 team, that was serious. That was speed. That was right up there, that game. It was really, really up there.
I've just had a message from Stacey. She's put, I love Matty Croyle. I'm okay with that choice.
Yes.
So she's happy that I picked Matt over Steve. I've been let off.
Oh, well, there you go. But it's one of those things. My problem is I know that many completely mad goaltenders that it's hard for me to... I know that many good players over the years. I mean, I've only been watching 20 years. There's people who've been watching it much, much longer than me. And they can remember teams going back to, was it Wembley Lions, I think was one of them.
Yes.
Friend was mentioning us about, and even the old Liverpool Leopards when they used to play out of the rink up in Kensington in Liverpool. And there's been so much hockey going around, and it is worth going along and taking it in wherever you are. And every rink has its quirks. Every rink has a character of its own.
Yes, there's something where you can pick a rink and everyone will comment on, like Bradford, you've got the size of it, you've got the steps.
The steps, well, yeah.
Yes.
It's not just the steps, it's not the fact that it's above the shops, it's above the bingo hall, and then on top of the rink, the student accommodation, there's flats. It's like...
such a weird place to have an ice rink. It's not what you'd expect.
No, if the Zamboni goes too fast and goes through the shutter door, it'll just fall down into it will literally drop past the shops at the back of the building. It's amazing. It's honestly, it's amazing. Still, we're about out of time for another week, and it's going to be an interesting one because, of course, we've not got the game at home on Sunday, but your YKK Wild are, of course, away in Coventry, 7:15 face-off against the NIHL Blaze. That will still be a tough challenge.
It will, very much so. I mean, Coventry are a team in form at the moment.
They're not a team to take lightly. They're always good skaters.
Yes.
And it is a tough place to go. Is the Sky Dome?
I mean, even when they came to us, they were short benched when they came to us earlier in the season, and they still gave everything.
So yeah. Well, and on that note, whatever you're doing this weekend, take in some hockey, enjoy it, support, and just have a good time. In the meantime, thank you, Carl, for keeping me company this evening.
No problem, Colin.
And, of course, I'll be back on Thursday with Musical Mayhem with Cole's Box of Delights from 9 here on HCR, and back with more people to keep me under control next Monday from 7 here on Time to Go Wild Radio. So we will play out with something for... I think Jen Hunt's going to like this one. I'm not saying what it is. And is it Song on Fire? We'll be playing out with that. So from Carl...
Good night. Thanks for listening.
And from me, till next week, whatever you're doing, take care. Ta-ra.